to my channel. My name is Helen Ikani. If this is your first time seeing my face, welcome to my channel. So today guys, I'm going to be teaching you step-by-step tutorial on how to make a pencil skirt. From my previous video, I informed you guys that I have few fabrics I'm going to be sewing into different things that I'll be using to resume work. So let's get right into it. Thank you guys. So these are all we need for this particular skirt: the material, lining, scissors, tape rule, chalk, ruler, and hip cuff. These are all the things we'll be needing for this particular tutorial. So first off, you fold your material into 2. After that, you fold it into 4. Just watch the way I'm folding, because sometimes explanation you might not get it right through explanation, but the way I'm folding it is how that's the second part, making it 4 materials. You see that I'm not folding the last 2 to the last end of the material. Is because that is set aside for a purpose. So that is for the zip allowance or zipper allowance at the back, because the first 2 materials at the back is for the basket, and the first 2 on top of the back material is for the front skirt. Place the ruler at the edge of the material and make a straight line. Make sure the fabrics are aligned all together and the line is straight. That is the waist line. Then from there, we're going to be taking the hip line. In order to get my hip line, I measured myself from my waist to my hip. That is the beginning of your hip. Then you place your ruler and make a straight line. That would be your hip line. So on this other part, please pay attention on how to get your length. You are going to be placing your meter rule at the very end. That is the waistline. But you're going to be taking out 2 inches from the waistline. That is if you're going to be using band. But if you're not going to be using band for your skirt, you can just go ahead to measure the actual length and then add 2 inches for stitch allowance. The 2 inches you're going to be adding for stitch allowance is also your hemline. You chalk it, and then with your meter rule you make a straight line. That is, we're having your waistline, your hip line, and the hemline. Next, I'll be fixing in the body measurements. That's the actual body measurement. The waist we're going to be dividing by 4. As you can see me using the tape rule, because I don't want to use a calculator. So using the tape rule, I'm dividing the waist by 4, and I'm going to be chalking the waist measurements that was divided by 4. So that is what I'm going to be placing on the fabric, and then I'm going to chalk it. So amidst that, I'm still going to add 1.5 stitch allowance. That's what I'm showing you, 1.5 stitch allowance. So from the body measurement, that's the waist measurement, you add 1.5. So moving to the hip, I still did the same thing. I think this is faster when you are dividing the actual measurements of the body, because there are some places you need to divide and there are some places you need to add. So using the tape rule, it's faster to divide it by 4. So that's what I do normally. So I still did the same thing I did for the waist, the measurements, and then 2 inches, 1.5, pardon me, 1.5 allowance for stitch. Then for this M line, I'm going to be using the hip measurement that I did divided by 4, but I'm going to take it a little bit backwards by 2 inches, or 1.5. It depends on how you want the pencil skirt to be pencil. If you want it to be tight or you want it to be a little bit free. So using my hip curve, I'm trying to get the curve in the angle of the hip and all of that. So this is basically how I got this. And you're supposed to align all this properly. I aligned some part, and I still made some mistake, but I corrected it. So now we're moving straight into cutting out of what we have already measured, and I'm just trying to align the materials and make sure that they're in place before I cut it, so I will not make mistake of cutting out what I'm not supposed to cut, or having excesses, or having shortage. So before you cut out your material, you check. Or sometimes you don't need to cut the actual measurements you've chalked or marked on the fabric. You just need to like take out a bit, so you can, if you make mistakes, you can actually use those excesses to correct it. So this is me just cutting out the fabric. this is it after being cutted out. So the next thing is you go down by 1 inch on the front piece of the skirt. So when you go in by 1 inch, you align in using your meter rule or your ruler. You align it to the waist of the front piece of the skirt. You align it and then you cut it out. We're doing this so the skirt can properly sit on your waist, because you know the back and the front is not actually the same. So this technique is being done to take out this part to make the front sit in properly on your body. This measurement and cutting is only done on the front part of the skirt. Do not make the mistake of cutting both the front and the back together. I repeat, do not make the mistake of cutting the back. It's only the front on which we've measured that we're cutting. So we're done cutting the fabrics. Finito. Next, place your fabrics on the lining and cut them out accordingly. Now I've already cut out the lining. This is the lining, and then this is the material. For the material, this is the wrong face, this is the right face. Since it's black, it's looking as if it's still lining. So I've already cut out the lining for this one and the lining for this one. Now I'm going to join the lining together. When I join the lining together, I'll show you guys how it is being done. So the allowance I gave to the M earlier is what I'm going to be using with the lining, and then the joining, you guys are going to see it. This is it after sewing in the lining. I'm arranging it now because I want to give it the measurements for the dart. So I'm just placing it. I've already ironed it out. For knit work, you need to keep ironing when you sew in lining. For the dart, you take your nipple to nipple measurement and you place it on the skirt line, and that's how you get your dart. You just chalk it, and then the dart length is 6 inches. Yeah, I've already made in the dart. Like I said earlier, the dart length is 6 inches for skirt. So for the band, from the measurements we took earlier, in total for 2 face it will be 4 inches, then half an inch for sewing. Then I use gum stain in the middle to give it the effect, this strong effect for band. I've already made measurements and chopped where we're going to be sewing on the back of the skirt, because that's the front one is for the zip, and then 6 inches for the slit. What we're going to be sewing is just that part that I've already chopped out. That's what we're going to be sewing. And finally, guys, our skirt is ready. So this is all we've been doing, and finally we've put it together and everything is ready. So let me know in the comment section what you think about this. If it was helpful, please do let me know. If I should make more videos like this, do let me know. Thanks. So let me show you guys the skirt. So this is the skirt, and it was made. See, this is exactly my size. It was made to fit. It was made to my body measurements are fitting. This is it. Welcome back from class and the whole procedure. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you learned something from it. Please do let me know if you learned something from it. Do let me know the things I'm not getting right or I need to improve. Thank you for being part of this family. Always subscribe to this channel to keep growing and keep us moving. We would really appreciate your help and your support for the growth of this channel. Subscribe, share, like, and put on the notification button to get notified when we drop our next video that will be dropping soon. Thank you guys. Bye.